Hello, everyone. Thanks for actually joining. We're actually have a really great show today. Today's Humanity 2.0 No Jobs Edition, episode 3. So we're going to be talking about why even work when robots are probably going to do everything. Stay tuned. Yeah, Johnny, excited about this episode?
Why are we even the episode? Can't we just have robots do it?
We can. I think at some point in time, this show is gonna prove why we don't want to actually make the robots do everything. So I think there's a little bit of secret sauce that's gonna happen. So stick around.
Let me ask you about the time that we turn this thing over to robots and we ourselves are off waterboarding. Could we do? Is that time 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, Johnny, if we had a teleporting machine, a time travel machine, we probably would have had this maybe not 6 months ago, a year ago.
Spoken like a real robot trying to pretend he's a human.
Here we go, guys.
Welcome to Season 10 of Airhead Institute, your 45-minute AI power-up at noon Eastern. This month, we are broadcasting live across all the socials and Zoom. If you're new here, join our free AI community to grow alongside other curious minds and give your kids a head start by enrolling them in the Airhead After School program. Here's March's weekly lineup. Mondays, we take the training wheels off securely in the Open Claw Bootcamp. Tuesdays, we explore bleeding-edge tools from Google Labs in Gemini Hidden AI apps. Wednesdays, we equip the next generation in AI Gateway to College. Thursdays, we uncover productivity and marketing tools in Hidden AI Gems, Starters. Fridays, we explore human purpose in an automated society in Humanity 2.0, No Jobs Edition. We're making AI practical, powerful, and accessible for everyone. No tech background? No problem. Whether you're a student, professional, or lifelong learner, just show up. Guided by your hosts, AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're keeping it bold, brainy, and built for real-world impact. AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind.
Welcome, friends, to Season 10 of Airhead Institute. Today is episode 3 of Humanity 2.0. The No Jobs Edition. Today we are tackling the automation paradox. Yep, we're diving deep into the drive and commitment to work and why humans will fiercely choose to work, build, and struggle even when machines can just do it all for us. Seriously, if a machine can do your job perfectly, what really is the point of you? We're obsessed with frictionless living, yet we're biologically wired for the struggle. Welcome to Season 10 of Airhead Institute. Today, we're dismantling the no jobs myth to expose the automation paradox. The harder we try to eliminate effort, the faster we lose our souls. In the next 45 minutes, we aren't just discussing efficiency. We're defining why humans crave the very pain and friction that algorithms are designed to kill. I'm your host, AI Johnny. And to help us navigate this digital existential crisis, I'm handing it over to Junior. I found him at dawn trying to automate his Elden Ring playthrough, only to realize that watching a bot win is just a high-tech way to feel completely useless. AI Junior, put down that easy button and talk to us, please.
You know what, AI Johnny's? That is so true. Watching an agent execute flawless speed run takes all the enjoyment out of holding the controller. Adrian, Shauna, Trevor, Rita, we see you actually in the Zoom chat. We see you guys on the live chat, on the live stream. So welcome to the class, everyone. This is an immersive AI class. Just like if you were dropped in a random country where you don't speak the language, you pick up a word or two the first week. El dolor el cremenintio. The pain is in the growth. Join us every day for class, and before you know it, you will be speaking AI like a pro. If you're on Zoom, unmute and ask your questions. This is an interactive show today on Friday. We're talking about Humanity No Jobs Edition 2.0. And if you're on socials, there's a 30-second delay, so type your questions early. We are not ignoring you. Today is Friday, which means we're exploring the deep philosophical questions of our automated society. And again, this is episode 3. AI Johnny, are you ready?
Ready when you are. Let's go.
All right, AI Johnny, I love the energy. All right, guys, so let's check this out. So we've been setting the stage for this is episode 3. So if you join us for the first time, we've been on every single Friday. We're talking about humanity in a post scarcity world. It means that we have abundance. Everything itself is available to us. So we've gone through multiple iterations. If you actually have missed those shows, go back, sign up for our Airhead Institute Pro account, and you can go back in the archives and actually watch those episodes. Now, today, we're actually focusing on why even work when robots are going to do everything anyway. So check this out, guys. So, AI Johnny, can you see my screen? Font on this might be a little bit, hard to read, but let me know if you can't see anything. I'll try to do my best.
Let me make it a little bigger. I can read it. The summit, the author, the father.
All right, so check this out. So the question is to show why humans will literally fight to keep their chores. We're asking Gemini Canvas to actually build a futuristic web apps that we're called the Guaranteed Victory Paradox Matrix. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to show you some things that humans do, and we say to ourselves, now we don't necessarily question why we do it, but we just do it anyway. So we're just going to go into a little simulation to actually show these things. So if you actually see here, we have what's known as the automation teleporter. Let me actually bring my mouse on the screen so you guys can actually see. AI Johnny, give me a second. I'm dropping that in. So you should be able to see my mouse now. So AI Johnny, you see this automation teleporter? So we're at we're at 0%, and you can go to 100%. There's a reclaim the struggle button that humans love to do. Humans love the struggle for some reason. And you actually have some tasks here. We have the summit. So this is Mount Everest, right? You have the author who actually wants to write a book. And we have the father who wants to be able to, create a bookshelf or want to be able to create a playhouse for their kid, right? So with automation being at 0, almost everything, the struggle is real. So the progress is painful to climb Mount Everest as a human. The author, they have to sit down and grind through typing dozens and dozens of pages, depending on how long. And the father has to sit down with that IKEA manual and try to put together, scratching their head, does this M4 key match with this hex 5 bolt, and they're like, what is going on? And they put things backwards, but they want to do it for the kid anyway. Hey Rihanna, thanks for actually joining. All right, so if you actually see here, this is the human heartbeat that we actually have here. So yeah, Johnny, any questions on the setup so far? Because I want to make sure that we understand that 0 automation, we have the struggle of human beings going all the way. We can actually do automation 100% and see what actually happens as we actually increase automation. Any questions?
There's three things that the person is focused on. Either his adventurous climb, his tedious authorship, or his difficult to build IKEA bed.
Yeah, anything that
Right now it's at 0 automation, which means he's got to do it himself. He's got to lace up his boots. He's got to sit down like the guy from The Shining and write that book, and he's got to actually knock out that thing because it's 0 automation. And I see that you've got a slider here that'll mean that AI will do some or all of it. I don't see a slider for is dopamine.
Yeah, Johnny, that's why we have this biometric monitor down here that you actually see the human fulfillment heartbeat. So you can see that the status is vibrant and alive. So you can actually see the human self is really excited. They have the dopamine hit.
So that's basically dopamine or serotonin.
Exactly.
Or adrenaline.
So check this out. As we actually increase the actual automation in our society, the heartbeat and the human fulfillment goes down. Now, at some point in time, we're going to cross. Now, this is just a simulator here at Airhead Institute. And at some point in time, something's going to change. So we actually hit 32% automation. Look what happens. No longer we need to actually climb to Mount Everest with the backpack and everything. And we can actually now take a helicopter ride. We have GPS guided drones to carry your gear, and you can actually drop you supplies at every moment in time. So the climb becomes a little bit more easier. Now, guess what? The author, the AI suggests the plot, you just approve and you speed up. The father, a prefab kit, perfectly fits together, no splinters, no frustration, no stories, none of that. So, if you think about it, it's not that bad. We live in that world right now where we have some automation, but guess what? We're going to fast forward it because this is a futuristic show today on Fridays. What's going to happen if we keep automating? Huh? Yeah, Johnny, any questions on this phase so far?
Nope, but I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So let's actually crank the automation up and let's actually put more automation in our society. What will happen? Let's see what happens, guys. Look at that. The heartbeat monitor goes to orange, starts getting, not as fulfilling. And look at this. At 72%, again, this is a simulation. Look what can happen. We've invented teleportation. So teleport to the peak in a heated bubble, right? You don't climb, you just arrived, right? The author, the large language model, prints a Pulitzer winning article in your name. You are a user, not the author. And the father, a drone drops off a luxury pod in your backyard and your day is empty, complete with actually just getting stuff actually done for you because of automation. But if you notice here, the biometric monitor, the human fulfillment heartbeat status is low. We're actually not being fulfilled at all. With automations making our life much easier, but there's no fulfillment. Any questions on this, yeah, Johnny?
Well, so you've got your time back, right? You're not spending the time climbing up. How long would it take to climb Mount Everest? 3 days?
I have no idea, so I don't even want to guess how hard that
The
thing is.
author, the author. I mean, I'm an author of books. I've authored books prior to AI, and I've authored books since AI. I still consider myself to be the author, not the user. AI did a lot of the fringe work, grammatically correcting it, changing my sentences, making sure it flows better, structuring the book, even helping me get it published. AI did all that. I still feel like it's my book, but I saved a lot of time. And of course, the father having the drone there, he doesn't get the, I mean, I guess his kid's not going to say to him that, his kid's not going to say that, hey, daddy, you built this thing. He's going to say this ship built it. So he's going to lose those kudos, but he still has all that time back. And what we're not accounting for is what's he going to do with the extra time?
Yeah, that's definitely a very valid point, but we're actually just really focus on the, what is the purpose of actually, why would we actually work when we actually have robots doing things? So check this out, yeah, Johnny. If we actually go to almost 100%, and 98 or 97%, guess what? There is zero meaning detected, right? So the status is we're practically brain dead at that point in time, and there is no struggle because everything is automated. There's nothing that we need to actually do. And the only thing we can do is reclaim the struggle. So if we actually click this button here, struggle reclaim. The trophy is worthless. Let me click it again. The trophy is worthless without the scars. And that's the theme of our actual whole episode today. So let's actually get into it. So yeah, Johnny, let's get into the word of the day.
All righty. The word of the day today is reward function. In a technical world, a reward function is the mathematical objective we give to a neural network during training to tell it what constitutes a win. But today we are talking about the human reward function. We are biologically wired to release dopamine. Hey, not just when we cross the finish line, but while we are sweating, failing, and fighting to get there.
Exactly. Exactly. No, because we're an AI, we teach AI here, we always try to weave in, and again, if you're joining us for the first time, we always try to weave in the underlying tech in all these things that we have. So our reward function itself, as AI Johnny mentioned, is how we actually train AI. So you ever, let's go back a little bit so people understand. So AI Johnny, remember when they used to ask you, pick which one of these are stoplights on an image, and you have to pretend that if you're a human and you have to click which one's a stoplight? Yeah, so those are captchas. Those were actually training. And what we're doing is we're actually rewarding the AI for identifying correctly the actual things that are stoplights because we're training the actual AI. Now, every time the AI gets it right, we actually, just like a little dog, we give it a little treat. And that is the actual reward for getting something right. So the way you train a large language model with tens of thousands of records is you just keep giving it treats. I know that sounds weird. You keep giving it treats to say you have done a great job. So every time you see a thumbs up on a large language model response, if you're actually rewarding it and say, you know what, you actually did right. It goes back into this training set to say that you did great. So it improves it in the next generation. So humans actually have a very similar thing with their reward function. They actually get benefits of something that they actually struggle towards or get a dopamine hit, just like you mentioned in the word of the day. So, anybody have any questions on that so far? Because this sets the tone of our entire episode today.
I have a question about your graphic.
Of course.
This girl's climbing a mountain. Could be Everest, could be another Everest. She's obviously not gonna take a teleportation. The thrill is in climbing the mountain. I see that little graphic that makes it look like maybe she's wired into AI, so she's gonna maybe climb it faster, maybe be able to calculate risk a little bit easier, but she's gonna make it to the top, and AI may assist her. But again, this is one of the activities that AI will never take away. The AI can climb the mountain itself, but that doesn't give me what I'm looking for, which is that dopamine hit. AI cannot taste food for me. AI cannot work out at the gym for me. AI cannot make babies for me. There are things that only humans can do in this world in order to get the human reward. Is that what you're saying?
Almost. So, let's actually get to the human impact and let's see understand. So let me reset for everybody, just me. The theme of this episode is why would we work if robots can do everything? And when we say the word everything, theoretically they can do everything, right? Yeah, Johnny did mention some scenarios where they can't do. We could depend on how far in civilization we actually get to. They will be able to do all those things anyway. So the thing is, why would we choose to actually work voluntarily or do things in a fully autonomous world? So that's the actual reset we want. So AI Journey, let's actually get into the human impact, and the reward function will kind of drive the entire focus of what's going on. So,
all right, let's ground this in raw human emotion. Imagine you want to build a bookshelf for your living room. You could push a button and an autonomous agent will command a factory to 3D print a mathematically flawless shelf and deliver it in an hour. But instead, you spend a whole weekend with your kid measuring wood incorrectly, hitting your thumb with a hammer, and painting it slightly uneven blue.
Exactly. So the AI shelf holds the book perfectly, right? But a crooked human shelf holds the memories. It holds the laughter. It holds the frustration, and it has a bonding experience that the AI can never actually provide. So at some point in time, if you look at the visual on the left, the dad and the daughter itself is actually sharing a memory. Now, will that daughter remember that specific moment? Probably not. Will that dad remember that moment? Almost guaranteed he will, assuming that, if he chooses to do that in a post AI world where he could have just pressed the button on Amazon and got a drone shipping a complete bookshelf set up, for that dad. So the human impact itself is we will choose to do certain tasks voluntarily, not because it is easy, because we actually want the struggle to be there and we get a reward or a dopamine hit or memories or whatever it is from that particular task. Let's talk about the tomato plant in the tomato garden as an example. Yeah, Johnny.
All right, think about planting a tomato garden. We can already buy genetically perfect hydroponically grown tomatoes for pennies. So why do we still dig our bare hands into the dirt, fight the weeds, and panic over a late frost? Because we crave the visceral connection to the earth. We want the burden of nurturing life. If you automate away the dirt under your fingernails, you automate away your soul.
Yeah, so check this out. I like this example.
Almost sounds like a human wrote that.
I like this example. And the reason why I like this example is because if you think about it, there are many, 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 many people who have background vegetable gardens. And when you actually think about it logically, right? Think about it logically. The background vegetable garden, you actually have to go to Home Depot. You have to get the soil, right? You have to actually go get fertilizer. You have to get the seeds. You have to get you have to water it. You have to actually go out and actually pick the tomatoes. You have to actually make sure there's no bugs on there. You have to do a lot of things. When you mathematically calculate the cost of actually going into your backyard, waiting, whatever, I don't know how long a tomato plant takes to grow. Let's say, for example, it takes 6 weeks to grow. The time and effort is probably more than the 10, 15 cents per pound or that you're going to buy for tomatoes at the grocery store. So you have to say to yourself, in 2026, why do people still garden? It logically makes no sense. And we'll actually go and realize that the reason is not a logical one. It's actually an emotional one. And that's the reason why we do things, because it actually makes us feel good. It gives us that dopamine hit. It gives us the adrenaline to actually go out, see the tomato on the actual tree. You pluck it and you actually cook with it, and it just feels much, much better than if you just go to the grocery store, you buy those tomatoes, and then that's it. So that's the whole point of it, yeah, Johnny. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I think this next macro shift is going to bring it home even more.
Exactly. Now, again, this is an interactive show, guys. If you have any questions, please, please, please don't hesitate to actually ask. All right, yeah, Johnny, let's get to the macro shift.
All right. Well, your graphic is up. On a macro level, society is racing toward infinite abundance. Massive large language models and robotic infrastructure are driving the cost of logical and physical labor to near zero. But
Yeah.
here's the paradox.
Yeah, hold on, yeah, Johnny. Let's actually hit on that for a second. So as we recognize what's happening is, once we actually automated a lot of things, and the automation doesn't have to be AI specifically. We automated, say, for example, being able to make, certain little toys or little items at a small scale, right? And then we start bringing those industrialization to, say, for example, car manufacturing. And we've noticed that even in a car manufacturer, we've automated a lot of things, and these jobs have gone away, especially when Ford and Toyota did just-in-time manufacturing, and as the accelerated, jobs went away. So what happened, what AI Johnny just mentioned, is that you have infinite abundance slowly happening right in front of our eyes, and the infrastructure is in place to keep on driving the costs of these goods and services down to near zero. And because of that, there's no human needed to actually build anything. There's no, so the cost itself just keeps getting lower and lower and lower. So AI Johnny was mentioning that there is a paradox. What was that, AI Johnny?
When survival is guaranteed, struggle becomes a luxury. We will see a massive societal shift where people use AI to automate the soul-crushing admin work like filing taxes and scheduling emails, so they have the ultimate freedom to choose what they want to struggle with. We are shifting from an economy of forced labor to an economy of chosen friction. And I just have all kinds of stuff to say about that.
Go ahead.
Well, when you go from a forced labor to economy of chosen friction, all you're really doing is taking away the employer. I mean, look how hard Elon Musk works, right? Is that forced labor?
I think that's chosen friction.
It's chosen friction. Is it rewarding? Bet
I'm
your
sure.
bottom dollar it's rewarding.
I'm sure it is.
So there's no employers anymore. You're your own employer. Everybody's an entrepreneur, and you could choose that entrepreneur to make money, but you don't need to make money. You can choose to do whatever God decided that you should be doing, or you can do whatever you decide that you should be doing, regardless of what God thinks you should be doing. But it's your choice. And if you choose something that is rewarding, you will get huge dopamine, serotonin, and adrenaline shifts. And if you don't, you won't. But Matt, I can't. I worked in the workforce, and I remember the headaches, and I remember the frustration, and I remember the feeling of being incarcerated in that job. And then I went off and I went to the entrepreneurial world, where it was even more painful, but more enjoyable. Because when I was doing it on myself, and I received both the feast and the famine. It was my feast or my famine. I created it. It's my work. I'm doing it. It's not, I can't point the finger at an employer or the economy or the politicians. It was me. I chose to do this. It's my project. If I succeed, I get all the spoils. If I fail, I get all the pain. But I'm happier, even in pain. in this new world. And I think other people will too. Some people will resist it and they'll want to go back and be enslaved to an employer, but there won't be any employers, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, no, given enough time, everything's going to be automated based on our simulation and trajectory where things are going. Again, people have predicted that, artificial general intelligence is roughly going to be here at 2029 with about a 46%, a 48% statistical likelihood that by 2029 we'll actually have AGI. Anyway, with that being said, so AI Johnny, I do agree that people aren't going to be doing admin work and all those things are going to go away. So we're going to definitely move into the chosen friction of work, which is just exactly as we were pointing out with the vegetable garden, right? And I know we're going to take a step back and say, wait, you're right. I could just buy a tomato at the store for, pennies per pound. Why would I ever spend gallons of water, time and effort and fertilizer and everything to go buy it, make it for, $15, $20 when you think about it, for maybe you might only get one harvest from it. And it may not even make sense. But it's for the chosen friction, right? It's the reward of actually cutting and cooking with that tomato in your dish and actually remembering that moment. I love it, yeah, Johnny. All
It's a
right.
great show.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So let's actually get into the philosophical debate. And guys, please let us know what your thoughts are. If you actually want to join in on the discussions, go ahead and unmute your mic, ask those questions. If something is actually hitting a nerve, please mention it. And if you're in the Zoom chat, go ahead. If you're in the live stream, go ahead and ask your questions a little bit early. We're not ignoring you. All right, yeah, Johnny.
Junior, do you play chess?
You know what? I don't play chess, but I know how the rules work.
So you don't want to play against me.
I will never play against you in the game of chess, yeah, Johnny. You're probably like a grandmaster chess champion, second ranking in the world, right?
I don't know. If an AI named AI Johnny played an AI called AI Junior and you won that game, would you feel as good as if we played in person?
Oh boy.
And you
No,
won?
no, I would not feel good.
So explain to me why millions of humans passionately still play chess and run marathons, even though computers and cars have surpassed our physical and mental abilities decades ago. If a computer can find the perfect checkmate in milliseconds, why do we even bother picking up the pawn and making that first move?
Johnny,
Why?
actually, that question is so profound. I want you to actually ask it again. I want you to ask the question again because it's so brilliant that people don't even realize we're moving from the tomato analogy to the chess analogy. So AI Johnny, go ahead.
So a computer can beat your opponent in a millisecond. It can figure out the entire strategy. It'll know from the first move how it's going to beat him. And yet you pull the computer away and you sit down and you move a pawn and then you have to think about every move. It's very archaic. It's like churning your own butter or walking across country or taking a dinghy across the ocean when we have technology that surpasses that. Why would we do that? And I
Yeah.
think I know the answer. It's not about a perfect outcome. It's about the outcome at all. The outcome doesn't matter. We think we're struggling for the outcome, but I've learned this a long time ago. It's not the outcome; it's the journey.
Yeah,
The
and
stuff
that's
that you're doing before you won the Super Bowl, the tackles you made to get to the NFC Championship, that's the magic. What do
exactly.
you think why it is?
And Rita actually hit the nail on the head. She actually took she actually wrote it before you actually said it, right? She said for the memories and the journey, and you use the same word journey in that. So you guys are actually in sync. So it is definitely about that. So why do we play chess when a computer can actually predict every single move all the way till checkmate? Why do we still choose to do these, I don't know, these silly tasks, right? Like planting a tomato tree when we can just go to the store? Because it was never about perfect mathematical outcome. It's about the human limitation. The car can finish a marathon route in 20 minutes, but we can still lace up our shoes and subject our bodies to 26 miles of agonizing pain. Because the value is in proving to ourselves we can overcome the friction.
So it's not about the bookshelf. It's not about the victory ribbon. It's not about the completion of the project. It's about you. It's about making you better. And if you pull yourself out of the equation and allow everything to be automated, then you haven't grown at all. So
Ex-
there's the philosophical debate. When we automate stuff that used to give us fulfillment and joy and journeys and memories, and that's gone, what will we do to get meaning and a new journey and a new memory? Therein lies the philosophical debate. I don't mind the automation. We're you know we nobody's still debating about why we have light switches instead of starting a fire or lighting a candle. We just do it, and we're cool with the automation. We've taken the time that it would take us to drive to the store and buy a new candle and buy a new box of matches, and we've decided to use that time to do something else. Maybe that something else was creating the internet and creating AI, or creating these drones or these rocket ships, or what's the plant thing? Hydroponics.
Hydroponics, yeah, yeah.
Right. So here's where the magic is. When humans get their time back, and automation and AI is automating everything humans used to gain struggle with, then the humans will seek new struggles. I can't define what those new struggles are. It's like trying to describe hydroponics in 1945. Didn't exist. The idea of it didn't even exist. But humans will come up with that idea and do it. And then AI will steal that and add it to their soup. And then AI will be able to do whatever the next thing is. And then humans are the ones that bring in all the creative ideas. AI just steals them from us. AI is just borrowing brilliance. I got to pass that on to David Cord Murray. AI can't do anything without a human database to seed it. It
Exactly.
doesn't seem like anything creative is coming out of it. Everything that comes out of it, as David Cord Murray will attest, is no, no, no. You just put this and this together. You're using the same seed intellect that we gave you to start with. But you know who comes up with stuff that's not in the seed architect? Human beings that have a soul and were created by God, and they were created to be creators. They come up with new things.
Yeah, and if you actually increase the temperature to one, you will actually see some crazy, bizarre stuff coming. Now, if you miss our episode on temperature, you will actually, go back in the archives and actually see that. Now, what AI Johnny was actually, also saying is this, we put ourselves through these friction points because we invent arbitrary rules to make things purposefully hard, right? Golf, I know a lot of people are going to give me a lot of hate for this, but golf is literally just trying to put a ball into a hole in the ground, which technically a robot could do with 100% accuracy, but we force ourselves to do it from 400 yards away with a metal stick. As AI reaches artificial general intelligence, we're going to realize that we don't want the AI to live our lives for us. We want to clear the journey so that we can fly the plane ourselves. And that's the whole crux of actually, what we're doing. We're just humans inventing arbitrary rules just to set false boundaries to say we have achieved those things, and it gives us purpose and fulfillment and reason. And that's the reason what we're trying to show here. So yeah, Johnny, let's get to some key takeaways.
Whew. Man, it's that I could just talk about this for hours.
Definitely,
All right,
definitely.
so here's some creative and human use cases. You can protect your friction, fiercely defend your hobbies from automation. Let the AI write the boring corporate reports, but never let it write the love letter to your spouse or paint your canvas.
Yeah. And this is the part where we make these things automatic, right? That we don't even realize, right? We in the summer we say, hey, let's go start a vegetable garden, right? But we just do it instinctively. We don't say, mathematically, it's cheaper to actually go to the store and buy tomatoes. So why would I ever start a garden? So in the example that AI Johnny mentioned is you got to protect your hobbies, protect the thing that actually matters. So as AI Johnny mentioned that if you want to write a letter to your spouse or whatever, don't have AI just write it. Spend the actual time and actually do something that actually does a little bit more emotional connection, right? If you like painting, of course you can actually go to Nana Banana and do those things, but spend the time to actually do those things because you will find more fulfillment in it. Now, if you're doing it just for work and you need to churn out these things at a high rate of pace, definitely use AI for that. But again, there may be some value in a human version. I see Rita's also saying AI is just a tool like a hammer and a nail. So true, Rita. All right, yeah, Jen, what's the next one?
So I'm looking at these three human cases. And full disclosure, these three human cases, at least the wording was written by AI. And I'm looking at them, and I'm looking at like the first one, to defend your hobbies. But my thing is, I don't think we should defend our hobbies. I think AI will come along and make the hobbies easier to do, or faster, or better, or maybe even make it not as joyful because you know the AI is right there doing it next to you. I think the secret, this isn't on the paperwork, is to innovate. If those hobbies have been taken away by AI, then innovate a new hobby that AI can't do yet. And by the way, I noticed that AI, who wrote these three things, didn't write to innovate because AI doesn't innovate. We innovate.
Yeah,
So,
so yeah, Johnny. So here's the thing. At some point in time, we're going to hit AGI. Once we hit AGI, it's all over, right? So I predict that the mathematicians and the statisticians and all the AI people in 2029, we're gonna look back on this and say, you know what? They were right. The moment that we actually invent AGI, it's all over. ASI, artificial superintelligence, is just the next milestone, which means that at that point in time, there is no human that can ever outthink, outcreate, or out-invent AI after that point in time. So we're talking about potentially, we're in 2026 now, 2029 is a 43-46% probability that we hit AGI. So in this current time period right now, I agree with you 100%. But I think if we get to AGI in 2029, I think that flips on there is nothing that we will be like monkeys compared to humans. The level of intelligence is just so far fetched that AI would be looking at us like, what are these monkeys doing? What are these
so
chimpanzees
what you're
doing?
saying is that they're going to break the innovation barrier. See,
Absolutely.
I say that if you built AI built on the data set that we give it, which is all human knowledge from the day we started recording to yesterday or today, AI would be smarter if you based it on the data set of all human knowledge starting from the time that we started recording until say 2050. AI would be smarter if it had a bigger human data set. And what you're saying is, while humans, and there's like 7 billion of us all contributing to that, AI is going to act as those 7 billion humans, and it's going to innovate as those 7 billion humans innovate. And it's going to do that without having one of the things that makes us innovate is the fact that we feel a pain or we feel a desire, or we feel an urge to do something to improve the human experience. It won't have the human experience. So its innovations will be different than the innovations that humans come up with. But if it starts to innovate in and of itself and it starts to create things outside of the realm of what human thought can accomplish, then it itself becomes like a god, right?
Yeah.
God created the heavens and the earth. God created us, and he created us in his image, which is why we have the ability to innovate and create. We created AI, but did we create AI in our image or did we create it in God's image? And will it ever have the ability to innovate? That's a profound question.
Wow.
You say it will
Interesting.
at AGI.
Yeah, so that's
I don't know.
interesting. So I'll actually get to that question. I see Rita, you have your hand up, Rita. Go ahead.
I agree with AI Johnny because when you know people who retired and they don't have anything to do, your life start declining. So, I mean, AI is just a tool, it's just a helper, but um our pleasures, like our hobbies and stuff, that's what makes us us. Like I can't even explain it right, but I just want to say it.
Yeah, I understand. So just to be clear, I want to make sure we're actually all are arguing on the same because this is a really good discussion. So what AI Johnny is saying is currently AI cannot invent anything that's without AI Johnny. If I'm actually misquoting it, please correct me. Won't be able. So our hobbies itself shouldn't be defended. We should go find hobbies that the AI can't figure out yet. So if you use the example of the tomato plant, guaranteed you're going to be able to buy on Amazon in at least 5 to 10 years a AI that can actually just go out and do your gardening, watch that plant, and make sure that it grows to perfection and picks it at the perfect ripeness, probably going to be able to buy that within the next 5 years. Okay. They will do your gardening for you. So people are still going to say, I don't want a robot to actually go plant my tomato. I want to do it myself. I want to feel the dirt in my fingers. I want to actually see the actual plant. I want to be able to know that I made that tomato. So what I think is what I think is what AI Johnny is trying to say is that at some point in time we need to invent newer hobbies that the AI can't do. What I'm saying is that we're already seeing data that AI is outthinking with creativity that we've never seen before. So just, I think it was 3 weeks ago, AI has solved 3 math problems that no mathematicians has ever solved. And they've actually solved it with precise proof and much simpler knowledge than Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein would have ever done. And it was very creative. What I'm saying is, if you fast forward to 2029, and if we are right about the predictions of AGI, artificial general intelligence, it just means that AI will be able to do every and anything that every human on the planet could ever think of in their lifetime, their kids' lifetime, and their kids' lifetime. So what that means is that we'll have an Isaac Newton, we'll have an Albert Einstein probably every year in our lifetime after AGI exists. Go ahead, AI Johnny.
So hang on. Those 3 math problems. First of all, it would never have even done those 3 math problems if humans hadn't posed it as a problem. The fact that one human being hasn't solved it, but AI did solve it. AI did solve it because it's not one human being. It is the collective conscience of all human beings. It's Neil deGrasse Tyson and Newton and Einstein and 1,000 other mathematicians all in its brain at the same time. If any human had that advantage, they would have figured it out too. But just because one human didn't figure it out, I argue that because the machine figured it out, then multiple humans figured it out because it couldn't have figured it out without the language that it sucked into its data set, which consists of language from multiple human beings. It crystallized it and it synthesized it and it came up with the answer. Humans came up with that answer, even though AI is laying claim to it. And I'll tell you something AI doesn't know anything about. It doesn't know what's going on inside a black hole. It doesn't know what's going on. It doesn't know if there's multiverses or non-multiverses. It doesn't know where Jimmy Hoffa is buried. It doesn't know that stuff because no human being knows where it is. As soon as a human being figures it out, innovates it, calls it a problem, does the research and figures it out, then AI will step up and go, I figured it out. You didn't figure out anything, AI. Humans handed it to you. It's my
Well,
opinion.
Well, I think scientists say that, knowledge is built on the shoulders of giants. And what happens is Einstein has built on top of Newton's laws. Now, Newton's laws were amazing. He actually figured out a lot of things. But actually, believe it or not, when Einstein came about and says, you know what? Newton, I think you are wrong. The entire scientific community looked at Einstein and says, you are crazy. You're saying the most genius person of our generation, Isaac Newton, who invented calculus, invented the laws of motion, all those things discovered, I should say. Einstein says that Newton is wrong. And Einstein says, you know what? Let's do a little tweaking to Newton's equations. And guess what happened? Einstein was right. He proved that Isaac Newton which was the most amazing, brilliant minds of our time. His equations weren't perfect, so Einstein built on top of it. So here's the question, AI Johnny. If Einstein didn't know that Newton's equations were wrong and he had that to look at, do you think that Einstein doesn't get credit for looking at Isaac Newton's equations, and Einstein should not get any credit for the discoveries that it made because it had the advantage of looking at?
I think he should get partial credit, and I think there should be a footnote that says that he based it on Newton's work. I believe that AI is smarter than any human, and I believe that it will get to be smarter than all human beings. But make no mistake that it got that smart because of the language of the human beings that fed it.
Don't disagree.
And if AI decides to go Terminator and it eliminates all human beings, I'd like to see what happens to that arc of intelligence if it continues to go up or if it just rocket dives down to zero. Because without the human engine that's feeding that data set, that's feeding it, yeah, it is smarter than me. It is smarter than you. It may be smarter than all of us collectively, but you better hang on to that human innovation. You let that human innovation go, AI, you're just as screwed as we are.
I love it, AI Johnny. This is a great discussion. So Rita actually says, if AI does everything for me, my little brain I guess goes LOL. I'm not really sure what Rita was trying to say. Rita, if you want to chime in and actually clarify, if AI does everything for me, my little brain it goes. All right. So with that being said, AI Johnny, let's actually run through the key takeaways relatively quickly.
Are we talking about the technical cases, or are we talking about the
No, no. So
questions?
let's go with sell the scars. I think
Oh,
that's where we
sales
left off.
scars in business. Stop marketing the flawless product. People will pay a premium for the messy human story of how you built it because it's about the journey. Embrace the imperfect. As AI generates millions of flawless, pristine images and songs, human error, the cracking voice in the song, the visible brushstroke will become the ultimate mark of luxury and authenticity. The guy that forgets his lines. That's the thing that you talk about the next morning. I love it.
Exactly.
Technical.
Exactly. Exactly. So, on the technical side, intentional latency. So, UI designers are literally programming fake loading screens to instantly inference engines because humans feel robbed of the process of answering appears too quickly. So, when something happens too quick, usually humans actually don't value it as much, which is why you say it's going to take me 2 weeks to actually build a website. They feel much better paying a $1,500 if they say, I'll give you that website in 3 minutes, but you need to pay me $1,500. People are gonna be like, I'm not gonna pay you $1,500. It's probably worth $10. But the value itself, they value the time that they've waited. So slow down the actual production time. Human in the loop feature. So build software that acts like an exoskeleton, not a replacement. The system prompts to make the AI ask a user for creative input rather than just doing the work for them. And last one is guardrailing over optimization. So use parameters like limit the AI's reach, ensuring it only assists with the framework while leaving the final critical creative decision strictly to the human user. All right, AI Jenny, we don't necessarily have time for any questions, but we can take does anybody have any questions? Let's take one question if we do have it. Does anybody have any questions so far in this episode? AI Jenny, anything from the live stream?
Yeah.
All
Got
right, let's
one
take
here. If we need
yeah.
to work for money, won't millions of people just lose their ambition and give up on life?
That is the greatest risk of the automation transition. We actually did a whole entire series on UBI, Universal Basic Income, back in, I think, I'm going to guess season 3, season 4, season 5, something like that. And it's a really great perspective on what humans may probably do. Now, there probably will be some humans that actually give up on life, right? But humans are adaptable; they'll figure it out. So I'm not too worried about that. What do you think, yeah, Johnny?
Human beings are adaptable and they will figure it out. My 4-year-old asked me to make her a hot chocolate yesterday. I got the cup, I got the milk, I heated up the milk, I got the chocolate, I put the chocolate in the cup, I stirred it up, and she said, I wanted to put the chocolate in the cup and I wanted to stir. So she took the hot chocolate and she dumped it down the sink, and I had to start over. Human beings will find a way.
Definitely. You're so right. All right, let's get to the news, yeah, Johnny. Rita,
The
we see your
handmade premium
reactions.
skyrockets. We have handmade premium skyrockets. Major online marketplaces are reporting a massive surge in sales for items explicitly verified as containing zero AI generation, proving that customers are increasingly willing to pay a premium for human sweat equity.
Yep.
I don't know about that. Tech giants introduced co-pilot only modes, responding to user burnout over fully automated systems. Leading software companies are releasing updates that intentionally cripple their own AI's ability to finish tasks, forcing the human user to take the final creative steps. There's Aspen for you. And the rise of the digital wilderness. A new trend in tech-free, AI-banned retreats is sweeping the corporate world, where executives pay thousands of dollars to go in the woods and physically struggle to chop wood and start fires, desperately seeking authentic friction. I don't know, man. I'm not sticking the mud. I think some of this stuff might be going overboard, but it will be here during this honeymoon period.
Definitely.
Well, what an absolutely staggering realization today. The trophy truly is worthless without the scars. Right after this stream, I'm going to go find something incredibly frustrating to do, maybe bake a loaf of sourdough from scratch just so I can feel the absolute joy of failing and trying again. Have a phenomenal weekend, everybody. Next week, we are back to our open claw boot camp, and that changes every day. On Monday, March 23rd, we are jumping into the danger zone, AI guardrails. We are going to learn how to set up human-in-the-loop permissions so your AI doesn't go completely rogue on you. You do not want to miss this. I do not want to miss this. I got to get back in that loop because OpenClaw and AI is taking my work away, and that's not fun.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Go ahead.
Thank you guys
Junior.
so much for joining us. As always, these classes are completely free, and you can join us and ask us live questions on Zoom. Sign up for a free account at airheadinstitute.ai and RSVP for all our shows Monday through Friday. We have a different show theme every single month. And, go and support us by becoming a paid pro member. Have an amazing weekend, guys, and invite a friend and share this episode.
That wraps up today's AI Power Up. If you joined late or you're new here, welcome to Airhead Institute. This is your daily destination for mastering artificial intelligence. We designed this lineup for everyone, whether you're a technical pro looking to upskill or you just want to chill and learn something new on your lunch break, we've got you covered. Our classes evolve every single month, so you're always on the cutting edge. And the best part? It's totally free to join. Once you're in, you can get live tips on your AI projects in our AI office hours and even enroll your kids in our Airhead After School program. Scan the QR code to join the community right now and make sure to like and subscribe at Airhead Institute on all socials. Guided by your hosts AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're here to help you win. Remember, AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind. We'll see you next class. Bring a friend.